Women 35 to 39, 1 in 3, she says in the same book, in the 1970s experienced a nervous breakdown, which is more than a 10% increase, which is in sociological terms quite heavy. So she realized, based on her own study, this is Betty Friedan we're talking about, that more women were suffering after the implementation of all of these things, and after they go into work, and after they've taken up all these attitudes towards domesticity, and the family and the home and the motherhood and all these things. You see. And she even admits, quite interestingly in the book, she goes, women have a profound human impulse to have children. Well, you weren't saying that before. All the tone has changed now, has it? When you see women are suffering and coming to you and crying in nervous breakdowns, now you're saying, well, actually women have a profound instinct, she says, or impulse, sorry, to have children. Well, you weren't saying that before, Friedan. She realizes what she put women in. But is she the only one? You'll be surprised, she's not the only one. In 1981, after realizing the troubling psychological impact of women, Friedan states this. Let me just go with Friedan for a second. She says, we had better find a change. But change is hard, because listen to what she says. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable what she says. Listen to this. She goes, because women have almost a religious feeling about the women's movement. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. She says, we've got to change this now. This is 20 years after everything. She goes, because women now are becoming, it's like feminism has become religion. Who's saying that? Betty Friedan, one of the founding mothers of feminism. She goes, I realize we have to make a change. She's saying this. I realize we have to make a change, but what? But it's difficult now because women have a what? A religious feeling towards feminism. Can you imagine this? A sacredness, a reverence, an awe. This is what she continues. It keeps us from asking questions about what really matters to women now. So, you see, it's really negatively impacted women. She realizes that. She wants to change that, but she can't because she's already created a monster. She's already created the Frankenstein of feminism. She's already helped contribute to that. And now she's trying to pull women back. Actually, we're going too far. No, it's too far. The Frankenstein has already been created. And do you know who's suffering for it? Women are suffering more because of it. And one of the most powerful things I've ever read from a feminist is from Germaine Greer in her book 1981, The Whole Woman. Remember, Germaine Greer was one of the founding mothers of feminism. See her online. How she's coming with arrogance and talking and smoking cigarette and this and that. And she's with confidence talking about how important it is and attacking domesticity, attacking this and equality and all that kind of. And then what? She comes in 1981, she goes, I mourn for my unborn babies. I mourn for my unborn babies, she says. This is two of your big names. Two already. We're going to come to the third one, which is the worst one, by the way. Which she said, I mourn for my unborn babies, she said. She goes, I still have pregnancy dreams. She's exposing herself. Waiting with vast joy something that will never happen. Because she's past the age of pregnancy. Never happen. Allahu Akbar. It's a punishment for you. Because you were telling all the women. You're telling all the women that motherhood is X, Y, Z and all that. Now you'll be punished because you realize that actually you suppressed your instinct and you hurt yourself. You only hurt you. You're playing with fire. You played with fire and you got burnt. De Beauvoir, who is if you want to put the main woman of feminism in the second wave is De Beauvoir, the second sex, because it had been probably the most robust and thorough philosophical work that had been done on feminism. And up until the third wave, it was the main way in which scholars of feminism would argue for feminism. Okay, this is what she says. We know her thought, right? She attacks the institution of motherhood. She attacks domesticity. She talks about how it's oppressive to be a man, biologically even, and these things. But she says the following. She was talking about she had a boyfriend. His name was Sartre, John Paul Sartre, a huge philosopher, big name. Imagine now she's telling women not to have what? Husbands or this. She's telling them not to have husbands, yeah? Not to be married, not to have kids. But listen to what she says about her own boyfriend. Listen to what she said. She goes, I felt dominated by someone else intellectually. Sartre lived up to the man I had dreamt up until 15. I was simply not in his class. Wallahi, I have not seen one single Muslim woman to ever say that. With the most complementarian lifestyle. She's an egalitarian. She said, I've never heard anything. I was dominated by my husband. I was not even in his class. The most traditionalist woman, the Amish. I've never said, this is what? So you're telling women not to have kids. You're telling women not to, she's like the devil. Wallahi, she is like shaitan. Sorry, let me just go into religious discourse for that. مثله كمثل الشيطان إذ قال للإنسان اكفر فلما كفر قال أنا بريء منك. It's like this in the Quran. It says It's like him, it's like the devil. He says, go and do this belief. And when he does it, he says, I've got nothing to do with you. In her own life, what's she doing? She's saying, you're my superior. I'm not even in your class. But she's writing in her books as well. She's writing, don't get married, don't have children, don't allow this from the man. It's like this nonsense hypocrite. She's a nonsense hypocrite.
That's what there's a statement. You're a feminist until you get married.
Well, she wasn't even married. We'll come on to it. She wishes she was. As she even admits. Well, not this, but she goes, I was simply not in his class. She looked in the mirror. Just like you, Ali Dawa. She said something that you said. She said, I detest my own reflection. She goes, if at least my own thought had given birth to a hill, a rocket, but nothing has taken place. I'm astonished to realize how thoroughly I have been cheated. Cheated by who? Who are you talking about? Cheated by yourself. You cheated yourself. Yeah? She's writing her autobiography. She thought we didn't read. Then she also admits, I don't know, she thinks it's a diary entry. She writes the following. She goes, before her boyfriend, Satra, came from Paris, she was preparing her new independent home in Paris and waiting for the return of Satra from Paris. New furniture is brought, the walls are papered, and new clothes are purchased. Oh, you're trying to make an effort for him, are you? You're trying to make an effort for him, are you? But you tell the woman to what? Not to get married. Well, you wish you were married. You wish you had that commitment. He called her, one time he said to her, because she came back home, she wasn't, she said, you're like a mere housewife. And obviously in their understanding, this is a huge embarrassment. She says, I was furious with myself to have disappointed him in this way. And he's the one, by the way, if you look at her autobiography, who persuaded her. He's the one who persuaded her to write The Second Sex. So we have a valid question here. Was second wave feminism created by Sartre, by a man? Was he the one doing all the work? Was he the one pushing her to do these things? Why? Because it's in the benefit, we're going to come to realize, it's in the benefit of the man. This is what women don't understand. Please, some women do, of course, but some women don't. Feminist women. That feminism, second wave, benefits the man. Psychologically, as we'll find, more than it benefits the woman. He doesn't need to commit. He doesn't need to have kids. He doesn't need to do all those things. He can move from one woman to another. Use and abuse. Lash and dash. He can. This is the situation. But let's not mention that. Yeah, this is the دراسة الغربية that's been through. في 100,000, yeah? This is the 100,000. It's Blanche, Flower and Oswald. This is the name of the study, 2000, okay? 100,000 participants. It's a longitudinal study from the years 1970 to the years 1990 in the UK and the US. Huge study. Very difficult to replicate. And this is what the researchers said, that men are happier and women are sadder. In the time period after the feminist movement has taken its force, and after all the laws have been placed, and after the attitudes have changed, and after women are going to work, why are they happier and sadder? Well, because let me tell you why. Because they say legislative reform and so on has not been successful in either country, in either country, in creating or raising the well-being among women. The quote is messed up a little bit on the slides, but that's, you see, this big thing is saying what? In fact, the same study said, do you know who was getting happier? Men were getting happier. Because they're getting what they want. The commitment issues have gone down. He doesn't have to extract his resources for her. He's got more money now. He can just use her, move from woman to woman. She's the one, she wants security. She's the one psychologically primed for these things. You want to play this game with a man and you think you're going to be happier. You don't know what you're doing. You've created 20 years longitudinal study. It tells us that in fact the welfare of women has degenerated considerably or exponentially as a result of what? As a result, or after at least these policies had been implemented.